isn't listening. There we go. There we go. I think we can hear ourselves now. The panel is on, or the live stream is on.
Oh yeah,
and the
I
panel
can
will
hear
start
myself.
in 2 minutes.
Oh my god, this is so loud. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
do turn off the audio of the stream while you're
Yes, I
paneling.
did that. All right.
Perfect. Yeah,
So yeah, I think
when the Discord event starts, this will start. I've got help from Nexus now to start the Discord event coming up.
nice.
So everyone should be pinged who has signed up to this. And once again, I apologize for the lack of pinging for the last one. We did not have the
It's fine.
permissions and systems set up for it, but we
Yeah.
should now. Yeah, everyone's rolling in. 26 people in the audience.
Oh my god. Hub one
Yeah.
has been dead all event.
And to repeat
Better to
myself,
listen in
there will
Discord
be a
only.
Q&A segment after the panel itself, which is, still within the hour, where you
Yes.
can ask questions to SwitchedCube about the panel and about their project.
Of course.
Try to keep any distractions during the panel to a minimum. Yeah, we should be good to go very soon. We're just waiting on the last 40 seconds. Let me send
Let me know when
Nexus
it
a little
starts.
ping.
Let me know when it starts.
I believe the time is now 1. The Discord event should start at any moment. But you can probably begin if you like, and sort of introduce yourself a little bit and talk to the people about what this will be about.
All right then. Hello. Welcome to the panel. Welcome to the panel. This is literally called All About Devscube. So expect a lot of self-promotion. Yes, so I would like to let you know about that first. And another thing, I want to first of all, I want to thank the Smith Summit team for hosting this great event. Curious, you're great. And yeah, thanks for giving me a chance to showcase Devscube, my little project, to this world. So I have a presentation here with like 45 slides, I think. I honestly forgot. You can count them if you want. So yeah, this is basically going to be a presentation about Devscube, what we have coming in the future, what the current state of Devscube is, all of that. And then obviously there will be a Q&A after all of this. I do have chat disabled, so that's that. Wow, there's a lot of people here. I think, yeah, so I think we can get started. Hold on, excuse me. Okay, there we go. What exactly is Devscube? Well, Devscube is a simple team of data packers and map makers. Well, we make maps and data packs for Minecraft that you can download for free. Our team is very awesome, even though it's not that large, and they constantly help develop Devscube and its various projects. Again, apologies. I have a lot of stage fright. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I want to talk about the origins of Devscube first. Uh, Devscube originally was a small project that I started myself to promote some of the amazing projects that I had planned for the future. The name Devscube is made by combining developers actually and cube. I think that's pretty obvious, but yeah. Uh, you can see it sounds very similar to my own name, which is SwitchedCube. Uh, I don't know. I just wanted to let you know. Wow. The earliest origins of Devscube actually goes back to 2022 when I used to develop a project called Datapack Empire. We'll talk about that later. But the actual idea of Devscube being a team and having multiple separate projects only came to my mind in the late 2023. Yeah. So my original SwitchedCube logo was made by somebody named Don Kiro. Massive thanks to them for making this highly detailed cube profile picture. So the logo of Devscube was made by me literally messing around with this cube. So you can see I removed the background and I just changed the hue to red, and that's how the Devscube logo was born. So yeah, one day I was messing around with this stuff in my images folder, and I happened to come across this image. For the fun of it, I removed the background and started hue shifting the logo because why not? I love messing around with stuff. Anyway, the first color I tried was red, and I quite liked how this logo looked. And then something clicked in my mind, which basically said, oh yeah, this is going to be the Devscube logo. I don't know when I got the name in my brain, but yeah, my mind instantly went, this is the logo for Devscube. So my original profile background didn't really fit with the cube profile picture. That's what I thought back at the time. But now that I've realized that it's wrong, but what am I saying? I had to improvise. I had to improvise and make my own gradient. So this is the old background. You can see it right here. So this background was used for quite a while. I think like 4 months. But later on, I started messing around with the background again and got to this gradient, which is shown by background V2 in the slide. And I just pretty much overlaid the cube on top of the gradient, and that's how the Devscube logo was made. So yeah, Devscube actually came into existence in March 2024 when I made, perfect segue, Datapack Tennis. So I had to make a Discord server for Devscube because it is the launch of this Datapack Tennis project. I will talk about it shortly. And so yeah, this is the perfect segue. So yeah, this is the beginning of Datapack Tennis. Sorry, the beginning of Devscube. Datapack Tennis. So what exactly is Datapack Tennis? Well, Datapack Tennis is sort of like a data packing competition. The original idea was from Gears Datapacks, or his Minecraft username, Gears_YT. He's right there. Hello. Oh my god. I told you there was going to be a lot of self promo in here. Yeah, so the original idea was from Gears Datapacks, and it was as follows. Somebody makes some sort of data pack based on a theme. He gives it to another person. That person somehow improves that received data pack and sends it to the next person in the queue. And this process repeats until the last person has made their changes to the pack. Wait, hold on. What just happened? Somebody snuck into the stage. Um, It was unclear how anyone would win this game, according to my research. I don't know. I don't remember. But what I did find is that Datapack Tennis got the name tennis because it was being tossed around like a tennis ball between players. Ain't that fun? Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, however, my version is slightly different. In my version, there are only 2 players in that previously mentioned queue. One person makes a data pack and the other person adds improvements to it. So the 2 players are called the creator and the upgrader. So the creator makes a sort of a data pack based on a theme, and the upgrader adds improvements such as fixing bugs, adding new features, etc., etc. And then various polls run in the Devscube community and surrounding communities such as Datapack Hub would decide the winning team. So the Datapack Tennis episode 1 was the first video uploaded to my own personal YouTube channel, and it marked the start of Devscube pretty much. In that first episode, I had no upgraders to go against, so I asked ChatGPT to give me ideas. All right, so my opponent was literally ChatGPT. So the theme was mob abilities. That's what the theme was. So my idea was to make a bunch of items that let you use the powers of various mobs in Minecraft. You can see some of the examples on screen that I made. The first one is the Guardian Shield. This would give you invulnerability for 20 hits of damage. The second one is the Phantom's Wing. It would let you levitate in the air infinitely. The third one is the Forbidden Soul. This one is basically like a ghost, pretty much. It lets you go into spectator mode for 5 seconds and then puts you back in survival mode. But the thing is, this thing also accounts for when you're inside a block, so it'll automatically destroy any blocks that are around you. This pack is very unbalanced. I should let you know. Yeah. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit bad. I'm kind of sick. Anyway, and this fourth item, this item, you can see it kind of resembles a glow squid. That's why it's called the Illuminator. The Illuminator, it makes nearby entities glow. That's what it does. I'm not creative, okay? Anyway, after I made my creation, you know, I'm a creator and I have to make the creation. I asked ChatGPT for ideas on what it wants to make. Because ChatGPT can't code, I had to I had to make ChatGPT's ideas myself. I mean, I probably could have used ChatGPT to code, but I don't want to deal with that. Anyways, ChatGPT's idea was to create even more items based on this theme, based on what I made, right? So he gave me a bunch of ideas. Not I should call them he. It. What am I doing? So yeah, there are 4 items. In the left to right order, these are Zombie Sprint, Dolphin Fin, Feet of the Strider, and Barterer's Charm. The Zombie Sprint would basically be an overpowered item that you can hold in hand. It increases your speed, increases your attack damage, and it does a bunch of other things that I don't remember at the moment. Apparently, I did not include them in my notes. The second item is the Dolphin's Fin. Yes, it is a retextured kelp item. I'm not great at this. Anyway, the Dolphin's Fin would let you swim faster. That's pretty much all it did. And then the third item is the Feet of the Strider. Excuse me. something is happening. All right. Yes, the feet of the strider would allow you to walk on lava by setting the block to obsidian. These are not very original ideas, but who said they had to be original? Anyway, and the final item is the barterer's charm. This would provide you with different loot from the piglin's loot table. The advantage to this is that you don't actually need gold, but you actually get to roll the loot table 3 times. So you get 3 separate items, and it doesn't require gold, right? So yeah, you can see what the items, you can see what the rest of the items do on the YouTube video I released. I might sound cringe. Yeah. Also, you can find the creation and the upgrades bundled in one data pack on Planet Craft. This is the banner art for the final result. You can see it here. And then when I was making it, I also wanted to make a separate map called Mob Mastery. And yeah, this is how the second project of Devscube, called Devscube Map, was born. Right? So what is Devscube Maps? Well, Devscube Maps literally makes maps for people to play. That's pretty much all we do. So like I said previously, I released the first map for Devscube Maps. This sounds weird, but yeah. When Datapack Tennis was released, I made the first map for in the Devscube Maps project. It is called Mob Mastery. And then later on, I partnered with somebody called Skulked to make another map called Splatcraft, which is a recreation of Splatoon 3 in Minecraft. We'll talk about that later. First of all, let's talk about Mob Mastery. So Mob Mastery has 3 different types of mini games. It is a mini game map. I don't think I mentioned that yet. And I've explained each one on screen here. If you want more details, you can head over to my YouTube and go to the 5-minute-ish timestamp. I don't know. Anyways, the first game is Explosive Spleef. It's kind of very similar to regular Spleef, but instead of layers, it has just one giant block of snow, and it spans. It has a depth of about 200 blocks. I don't actually remember. To get down to the lower levels, you have to use an item called an explosive orb, which was a suggestion from ChatGPT for Datapack Tennis 1. This explosive orb was going. It was supposed to drop from a ghast, and you would be able to right click it to shoot a fireball. So that's pretty much what explosive spleef uses. So instead of a shovel, that explosive orb item is used, and you can explode the ground. The game is quite lengthy because, like I said, there is a depth of 200 blocks, so it goes down quite a lot. But yeah, that is explosive spleef. So yeah, this is my first map, so everything is not very thought out very well. The second game is called Platforms of Slimy Death. One thing you'll quickly notice is that I'm not really great. I'm not really great at names. No, I'm not great at names at all. Give me a second. All right. So in Platforms of Slimy Death, well, it's quite similar to the Glass Platforms game from Squid Games. So instead of glass, there are actually slime platforms that you have to jump on. So these are made out of slime blocks. And you are given an item called the illuminator, which I previously talked about. You can see the item texture is right there. This is the illuminator. I think I already said this. So yeah, using this illuminator, first of all, you would jump on a slime platform. You can choose either the left one or the right one. And then you would use the illuminator to make the blocks below you glow. It actually uses a little trick of slime entities. So each block has a slime entity hidden inside of it. And when I use the illuminator, the slime entities glow. And when they glow a specific color. It can be green or red. If you're on a green platform, if the slime entities below you glow green, that means you're safe to move on. Otherwise, if it's red, well, you know how the Squid game goes, right? You know how the Squid Games go, right? You just fall to the void. The first person to get to the other side wins, because there are infinite tries, as far as I know. Or maybe not. I don't know how I made it. But yeah, the third game is literally called Zombie Battles. Again, I'm not creative with names. um, it's like one of those tower defense games, but the towers are missing. Um, in this game, your goal is to protect a villager inside of a house. Zombies will spawn from 4 corners of the map and will try to attack said villager in the middle. And you can actually break the 4 corners. Sorry, you can break the spawners which are in the 4 corners. These spawners obviously spawn the zombies. But if you destroy these spawners, they actually regenerate after 30 seconds. So it's not permanent. That is one thing. But if you kill enough zombies, you can use the rotten flesh they drop to buy items from the shop that is next to the villager. To defend the villager for even longer. If you want more details, you can just watch the YouTube video. I am really awkward at talking. Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide. This is Splatcraft. So now let's talk about Splatcraft. Splatcraft is a recreation of Splatoon 3 in Minecraft by Sculpt and SwitchedCube. I obviously did the programming, and the texture art is obviously from Sculpt. Did somebody just shoot a arrow? Okay, whatever. Yes, it contains 3 different maps from Splatcraft. Splatoon 3. Wow, I am really bad at this. They're called Manta Maria, Sturgeon Shipyard, and Wahoo World. You can use the basic weapons provided in the map, which are splatter guns and splatter bombs, to cover the maps with your ink. There is obviously 2 teams, the orange team and the blue team, and each one has their own separate Splatcraft splatter gun and obviously a splatter bomb. The splatter gun would obviously work like a bow or like a gun, obviously, and would shoot. And wherever you shoot it, it'll replace the blocks nearby with your type of ink. And the bomb would also work similarly, except you can throw it, right? You can throw it somewhere and it'll be placed on the ground. It'll stay placed on the ground for like a couple of seconds, and then it'll explode, filling the area with ink. The team who has covered the most ink in the 5-minute period wins the entire game. And you can also turn into a squid, just like how the actual game lets you, which is pretty great, I think. The original map was made by a person named Newell Barco 8. So that's where we got the build from. And obviously the texture art is from Sculpt. The gun texture and that squid that you can see on the right, they're from Sculpt. So yeah, you can check out the original map on Planet Minecraft. I unfortunately I don't have the link right now. I'll probably find it in the Q&A period. But yeah. So yes, these are a bunch of images that I collected. The first one is obviously the cover art for Mob Mastery. Yes, I think it does look ugly because I think I spent like a total of 10 minutes working on this thing. I don't know. You can see the cover arts. You can see the Splatcraft cover art as well. Fun fact: to make the Splatcraft cover art, I had to take 2 different screenshots and stitch them together, which is kind of funny. So yeah, the 2 players are literally me, just me, nobody else. Excuse my yapping, but let's move on. The top middle picture, you can see it right there. That is a scrapped ocean minigame concept for Mob Mastery. It was going to use the previous dolphin fin item that I mentioned from Data Pack Tennis, which you would get from a dolphin. And the basic premise of that game is you use the dolphin fin to swim around the ocean, find chests, and collect various items from said chests and return it back to spawn. I did not know at the time how to make the chests randomly spawn, like spawn in random locations. So I ultimately decided to scrap the minigame because it was just too much work for my little brain. If you go to the spectator mode and fly around the map for a little bit, I think it is possible to actually find the map for this scrapped minigame. I don't know. But yeah. The screenshot that is below the scrap minigame is the spawn area of Splatcraft. Obviously, the map is by Newell Barco 8. Check it out on Planet Minecraft. And you can also see this funny desktop wallpaper I made with the Splatcraft map. I think it looks kind of weird. If you observe closely with the zoom mod, I have Among Us installed. Okay. And up there, there is a early screenshot of what Mob Mastery spawn area was supposed to look like. That black box there, I replaced it with an image of the cover art, which you can see on the bottom left. Sorry, the top left. But yeah. I think we can move on to the next slide. Yes, Devscube SMP. This is the third project. This is the third project of Devscube. So after the release of Splatcraft, Sculpt wanted to make an SMP for Devscube because he thought, why not? So yeah, and I also said, why not? And that's pretty much how Devscube SMP was born. It was supposed to be a small server for the active members of Devscube, right? And it contains quite a lot of data packs from various places. for example, the Creepers code, vanilla tweaks. That's all I can remember right now. um, but yeah, and it contains quite a lot of data packs, right? And it was supposed to be online 24/7 and originally hosted through a host called Bisect Hosting. Sorry, Exaro. Hold on, I cannot pronounce this right. Exaroton, Exaroton hosting. Yes, a little while later, we actually switched to Bisect Hosting. So yeah, recently we had to end Devscube SMP Season 2. Originally, there was only going to be one season, but some person went in and did something to the server, which forced us to shut down the server temporarily and start a new season. Personally, I think it was kind of bad because we lost quite a lot of the player base. Who would do such a thing? I'm reading chat. Who would do such a thing? Yeah, who would do such a thing? Anyway, yes, so recently we ended season 2 as well, in favor of switching to a better server host and also starting season 3, which is going to be much better. And hopefully with more player activity. But yeah, you can see that I crossed out the IP address because SMV is currently down because season 2 ended, and the IP will change in season 3. As of right now, we haven't set up the IP address, so I cannot show you the IP. Yeah. So the lore on Devscube SMP is quite interesting, actually. The biggest parts of lore can be shown on the screen here. So the first one is SwitchedCube's unofficial persona. So, some people like to call me a furry, even though I'm not. Just to make sure that you know, I am not. So one day, this guy, Jagavold, yep, he's right there. he's right there. You can see him. Jagavold, wanted to make a persona of me. A persona is basically uh, a character, basically a furry character. I don't know how to explain. Anyway, and then he got somebody else called Kuro to make a drawing of what my unofficial persona was going to look like. That design is actually based off of a blue axolotl. And then later on, Jagavold made Gura avatar, which you can see on the screenshot up there. The guy on the right is my unofficial persona as a Figura avatar. I thought it was kind of funny, so I wanted to include it in there. Anyway, another part of the lore is this guy called SwapCube. This is SwitchedCube, but if he was in an alternate reality by an active member of Devscube called 20 Florian. There's not much to talk about him, actually. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next slide. My lawyers have advised me to not talk about the image on the right, so we'll skip that. Anyway, so the server is actually kind of sentient according to the lore. So this is a conversation that happened before the server changed from Exaroton hosting to Bisect hosting. It's kind of low quality, so you can't really read it. So I think we should just move on. Um, I will ask you to ask no further questions on the right image. Okay. Anyway, a few months after the release of Devscube and the previous 3 projects that I mentioned, we also launched a Minecraft jam called Prompted. This is our most recent project that has been released, and there's actually a jam going on right now. There's the second jam going on right now. Um, so yeah, let me explain about Prompted a little bit. Prompted is a Minecraft jam where you make something out of a text prompt that is given. Uh, for your information, that is a text prompt, not a theme. This text prompt contains 2 blank spaces originally, which are filled by 2 random words selected using polls on Discord. There is actually a jam going on right now, like I mentioned. You can participate if you're watching this at the time the panel is released. That is for the YouTube viewers. Anyway, so yeah, there are 2 blank spaces, so that will be pretty much something like this. Let me type it out in chat. That's pretty much how it's supposed to look like when the polls have not selected any words. So yes, there is something, something, and then there's a blank space, and then there's something else, and then there's a blank space again, and then there's something else. And these blank spaces are obviously filled by 2 polls run on Discord, and they are quite out of context, and people vote on those 2 polls, and whatever words are the winners of those 2 polls are used in the text prompt to fill out those 2 blank spaces. Anyway, so I'll take the first jam and its text prompt to better explain what I mean. So the original prompt was called, is literally, the ancient blank has awakened and the blank are in chaos. And you can see that the poll 1 and poll 2 are displayed on screen here. The word machine won on poll 1 and the word skies won on poll 2. And you can see that those 2 words have been used to fill out the blank spaces in the prompt. And this prompt was used as pretty much it was used as the theme, right? So in the first jam we got 3 submissions. Not a lot, I know, but yeah, the winner was Celestial Invasion by Eggy112, a team member of Devscube actually. And the second place went to Cookie Panda's Skies of Chaos. Personally, I thought that was pretty cool. You can actually check out these projects on Planet Minecraft. Well, the first 2. And the third place goes to I Am Steve by Scout, another member of the team. And I also want to thank my good friend Tech Tac for helping me judge all these packs. Skulk is Jack Black confirmed, real. Awkward silence. Yes, there is going to be a lot of awkward silence because I am bad. Stop reading chat. SMH, you can't read. Okay, fine. I am not going to read anymore. I got bored. Okay. Sorry, my voice sounds a little horrible. So yeah, this is our biggest project yet, and it's called a turnip. So this is going to consume the largest amount of time from the channel, but I'll try to go over it quite quickly. First of all, I want to thank Ice Bear Warrior, Lunatic, Max Does Things, and Tech Tac for making the textures for this section. They are all team members of Devscube. Let's move on. So Eternum. What the hell is Eternum? Well, Eternum is a revive of an old RPG project created by somebody named Mox Valix, who is, I think, yes, they're here. Sorry. Yes. It is a revive of an old RPG project created by somebody named Mox Valix. Hold on, I'm looking at my notes. Mox, you just got somebody. Okay. Yes, Eternum contains 19 different classes, 350 and more abilities, a dungeon system, an energy system, a level up system, magic, custom items, and mobs, advancements, and also even more content that are coming in the future. The pack is intended to release around late December or early January, probably, if everything goes well. But yeah, the dates are quite subject to change. Anyways, you can see all the classes on the left here. We'll talk about some of the classes later. Anyway, let's talk about the main block that is found in the Eternum data pack. It is called the class table, and it is found in Plains villages, and you can yourself by using a recipe. The recipe is still to be decided. And it is quite basically the control panel for everything in the data pack. So you can do pretty much everything from this class table. I do have to let you know some of the textures are quite placeholder. Like for example, this yellow thing that is on the left next to me, and that green thing. I think I completely forgot to replace them with actual textures. Sorry about that. So yeah. So you can choose your first. You can learn abilities. You can switch your current class to a different one when you level your current class. You can also switch to a different class while you're already leveling up another class. It's a bit confusing, but I'll explain it later on. And you can customize which abilities go into your ability, which is pretty cool. Anyway, yes, so these are some of the UI found in the class table. On the left, we have the main menu with the 5 different buttons. In the middle, we have 19 classes found in a term. We'll talk about them shortly as well. And this UI on the left, sorry, on the right, is what the ability selection menu looks like. So this is where you would be able to select. All of this is quite placeholder because the current data pack version is not that great. I hope to do a rewrite of it soon, with much more optimization and stuff. But yeah, this is what the current state of the project looks like. Anyway, so this is the main GUI, right? This is where you can find the 5 buttons that lead to various. On the left, we have the second one is where you can choose which ability wheel. The third one is mainly infographic thing, so you can know what your level is and you're currently learning. And then the fourth one is using a class stone. Yeah, you can see that those two buttons, learn a stone button, quite placeholder. And then there's the final one, which is choosing a new class. Can be used to either choose a new class when you haven't learned a class before, or after you've leveled up one of your existing classes. Sorry if this is very confusing. So yeah, this is where you can pretty much do everything related to the class system of the data pack. So yeah, this is pretty much everything except for the dungeons. But yeah. So hold on, give me a moment. Okay, um there is a lot more explanation about the 5 buttons in my notes, but I think I will have to skip them. Basically, what you need to know is that there are 3 different types of abilities: active, passive, and key abilities. Active abilities can be activated using using an ability wheel. The passive ones run in the background, basically, and the key abilities actually unlock various items for a class. So, for example, a swordsman class can get a key ability that allows them to use custom swords from the data pack. And obviously, active abilities have a cooldown and they use an energy system or a mana system. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, so and then there's the class stone. The class stone is basically an item that allows you to switch your current class to a different one, keeping all of the learned abilities, but resetting the data of your current class. So, for example, if I'm on the Enchanter class and I have level 8 of the Enchanter class, and I use a class stone which allows me to switch to a different class, and if this class stone says that I can use it to switch to a different class called the Rogue class, when I use said class stone, it will reset the level of the Enchanter class, and it will instead give me the Rogue class. So now I'm learning the Rogue class. And basically, it'll keep all of your currently learned abilities from this class. So to learn an ability, you must have the class related to that ability learned. So yeah, hopefully my explanation is not very confusing. But yeah, maybe I can explain it more later in the Q&A or something. I don't know. I think I'm going to move on to the next slide. But yeah, if you thought that was a lot, well, you're not ready for more stuff that are coming on the way. This is the classes UI. It neatly displays every single class in Eternum. You can see all the classes. There are 19 of them at the moment. In this menu, you can either choose your first ever class if you haven't learned a class before, or if you have learned a class and you've reached the max level for that class, you can choose a new one, right? So the classes are from left to right and top to bottom order. Archer, Swordsman, Barbarian, Pacifist, Mage, Traveler, Wanderer, Druid, Warrior, Monster, Alchemist, Warlock, um, Rogue, Miner, Soldier, Enchanter, Healer, Summoner, and Smith. Smith Summit. Okay. Um, so let's move on. This is the ability selection menu. So like I said, you can choose any ability here. You can choose any ability to apply to one of the slots in your ability wheel. Um, but it will only apply to your ability wheel if you've learned that ability. So if I go on clicking one of these random ones in the GUI, it just won't work because I haven't learned said ability. But if I learn that ability, then I could put it in my ability wheel and then I could use it, right? If it's an active ability, I can right click it. Hopefully my confusion, hopefully my explanations are not confusing. Um, yeah, so when you hover over an ability, it'll display quite a lot of data, like what type of ability it is, if it's an activated ability or a passive ability. Key abilities are not displayed in this GUI. And another thing is it'll show you which class is required to learn this ability and which level of that class is required to learn this ability, and it'll show what the internal name of it is, which at the moment is the exact same name that you see in the item name. And then it'll also show any incompatible classes or abilities. So basically, if an incompatibility is found in the ability wheel slots, this thing, this large section, it will not apply this ability, basically. And then down there, you can also see how much energy it will require to work, right? Um, but yeah, again, the data, the stuff here is kind of a placeholder. So this is definitely gonna get changed. And then up there is the change page button. And then obviously there is a stats button which show you what abilities you have in your 8 slots in the ability wheel. Okay. Let's talk about the upcoming features for Eternum in the dungeon system. The dungeon system will likely not be in the 1.0 release of the pack and will probably release later on in version 1.1 if everything goes to plan. So an Eternum dungeon is a linear structure that is generated with random rooms. It'll have 3 spawner rooms, either containing reinforced or heavy spawners, 2 rooms with looters. These blocks, we'll talk about them in a bit. As well as a boss room, and a starting room. So now let's talk about the looter. The looter is kind of like a vault, basically, but it actually drops different loot based on what kind of key you use to open it. So for example, if you used an armor key, it will drop armor, but if you used a weapons key, it would drop a weapon, right? Oh my god. It is kind of thundering in my area. And something I have also noticed is that I am getting very close to the 1 hour mark. I think I might have yapped too much. Okay, I'm going to speed up then. So yeah, let's talk about the dungeon spawners. So the reinforced spawner is basically a type of spawner that activate in a sequence. So the first one activates And then once you complete that spawner, the next one activates, and this keeps on continuing for pretty much the entirety of that room. The dungeons are quite like trial chambers, so that's that. Um, Obviously, with the mechanic of reinforced spawners, it allows you to increase the difficulty uh, quite easily. So the first spawner would spawn easy mobs, but the next spawners in sequence would get harder and harder. And then the heavy spawner have a 50-50 chance to either drop loot or summon enemies. So it is a high risk, high reward type of spawner. Um, and another note is that the heavy spawners, when they spawn the enemies, these enemies won't drop loot. So yeah, that is something else to keep note of. So next we are going to talk about the energy system. The energy system is quite a mysterious concept, even for me and the development team, because it is quite new. It was not in the original version made by Moxvalix. The way we have it right now, each class has a different system. Okay. However, no matter what class you are, any ability will always a specific energy amount. You can regain energy points in the same way you would regain health points. It is currently undecided whether eating food will grant you energy points. So yeah, there are a few things here. You can see 3 of the energy bars that are going to be inside the game. So you have the Smith class, the Monster class, and the Druid class. Each of them have separate icons. Yeah. So this is the ability wheel. We'll talk about the logo. First of all, I would like to talk about what the ability wheel actually is. So the ability wheel allows you to use your ability. At first, you have 1 ability wheel slot, but as you progress in the game, you would get more slots. There is a max of 8 slots. You can put any active or passive ability in these slots. The ability wheel is an actual item that you cannot drop, so you have to right click it to use an ability. And it also requires energy to use an active ability, and obviously has a cooldown. And you can switch your currently selected ability by hitting F or the offhand key on the item. And the design for this texture was actually based on the logo of the original team, which was working on in 2022. So yeah, this is also 2 years old. It was founded by Moxvalix and was called the Order of the Data Packers. The members were myself, Moxvalix, Gears Datapacks, Syllabear, Macroon, Wolfian, Jagawald, and Dark Code 404. Give me a moment. But yeah, the team kinda is dead. But I always wanted to revive this project. So yeah, Devscube was my opportunity to do that. So the texture of the ability wheel is supposed to be a nice Easter egg to the original team which worked on this project. Yes, the logo did contain an Among Us picture because, fun fact, I made that logo. Of course, I was going to put Among Us in there. Anyway, another fun fact, the name Eternum means eternity or forever in Latin. I don't know, I just wanted to let you know, I guess. Right. We'll end the Eternum section with a bunch of pictures. The top left one is a screenshot of a class table which is found in a village. The next one is a concept for a term's advancements. You can see quite a few of them. The bottom left shows a dungeon merchant's trade. So this dungeon merchant is going to be a part of the dungeon system, and it will it will sell you class stones and class abilities which you can use. And then obviously on the right here we have the dungeons concept. This is just a concept. I don't actually have anything working related to this. But yeah, you can see that it has a deep slate theme. And it looks very similar to the trial chambers, right? But yeah, now we're going to move on to Devscube's. Something has happened. Something has happened. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to speed run this then. Right. So this is Datapack Empire. I hear someone walking. Anyway, the textures are by Jagawald. Datapack Empire is calls it a mod pack, but for data packs, and it contains updates to many aspects of the game. The first update is going to be the enchantment update, which is I don't have a lot of time to explain about this because apparently I have so this is the enchantment forge. You can do things such as combining scrolls, applying runes, applying tokens and jewels, making curses, shattering items, upgrading books, of enchanting. I'm gonna have to go really fast here. The scrolls can be used to make the enchantment from an item and store them for future use. Applying runes, so the runes can either modify the power of an item, stop it from breaking once, or stop it from breaking forever. You can also shatter items to get shards of enchanting, which can be used to upgrade books. You can also make potion-like items, which are called charms, and they can either provide buffs or debuffs to players. And you can also combine different enchantments to make even more powerful enchantments with higher tiers. I'll provide this presentation somewhere once this is done. And yes, and then there's the enchantment table, which is supposed to remove the luck-based system of Minecraft and provide more flexibility. So yes, there are crystals which increase the rate of getting more powerful enchantments, and there are 3 types. The gems provide higher power tiers of enchantments. There are actually tiers for enchantments in this pack. But yeah,
But yeah, I think we'll have to call it there, SwitchedCube.
Yeah.
And really good job on the presentation. Really cool slides, and it's a bit of a shame that the time ran out.
Yeah.
But you'll obviously be able to talk about the panel with everyone in the crowd after the panel's over.
Yes.
And I want to issue a huge round of applause for SwitchedCube for running this panel. Without any practice at all, this is really impressive. Good job.
I have not done any practice, by the way.
Really good job, and I'm sure we'll all want to learn more about Devscube by experiencing the booth that exists in the world.
Yes.
And sadly, we didn't have time for the official Q&A, but questions can be asked to SwitchedCube after the panel is over.
Yes.
And yeah, good job. If you want to have any closing remarks, feel free.
Well, thanks everyone for joining the panel. I had a lot of fun with this, and I also want to thank the Summit team for hosting this event. This is really awesome. But yeah, I think since I ran out of time and stuff, I think it is good if we end this panel now. I think if it's possible, I will provide the presentation somewhere else in the Discord, so that you can actually read up on whatever this stuff is. But yeah,
Yeah, we'll
I
call
think
it there. And thank you everyone for watching.
yeah,
The stream will now be ending. And thank you all
yeah.
for joining in.